What caused me to become homeless was I was a single mom with one daughter. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and my daughter became ill with cancer. So I had to stop working to care for her. And so that was the first that caused me to become homeless. And obviously, once she started having treatments, it was hard for me to leave the hospital and apply for certain things. There wasn't a lot of help for those things. So when I did get a chance, I applied for IHSS, a social worker told me about, and like AFDC, but it was nowhere near the amount to pay rent. So that's how I became homeless.
I didn't purposely become homeless. I was forced to become homeless. I was pregnant with my third child, and I was living with my grandfather that was dying of cancer at the moment. I lived with him and my uncle and him, so I tried to help as much as I can with my grandfather while I still had my two younger children at the time. That was 6 months and a year. During that time, one of my relatives found out I was pregnant because I was trying to keep it a secret until my grandfather passed because I didn't want to put that burden on anybody. And unfortunately, what they did was they kind of told another uncle of mine that didn't like me so fondly and made a big issue out of it. During that time, my uncle that found out was my grandfather's power of attorney. So, meaning that he had the power over everything, over my grandfather, over his housing, everything, even where I lived. So when my uncle found out one day, he got the rest of my uncles and huddled them up and attacked me and wanted to know if it's true. And when they did, they gave me 24 hours. 6 months pregnant, 6-month-old child, and 1-year-old child to get up all my stuff out of my home and leave.
What caused me to become homeless was my landlord here in Vista um, told the sheriff's department and the courts that I was breaking the law in his home. And it turns out that the law that he said that I was breaking, he himself was breaking. I was actually purchasing something from him and he was offering it to me, but he neglected to tell the court that and had me thrown out on my head. I had 15 minutes to get out, and it was the most unfortunate of occurrences.
Um, Knock was my wife's name. Um, she went into the hospital, and I what I thought was it was just going in the hospital, and I was going to cancel my trip. Her and her dad told me, no, what you're doing over there is so important. Go. She'll be okay. This is a hospital trip. She had pneumonia, and they didn't tell me. And I came home for a month, and during the time that I was there, or at home, she passed away. And I wasn't there. I didn't know what to do. I really didn't know what to do. Somewhere in there, I decided that I really didn't want to live. I didn't. Why? I couldn't see a reason. And I started drinking. I started trying to drink myself to death.
When you're not on medication and you have schizophrenia, it destabilizes you significantly and you make poor decisions, and that only compounds the situation of being homeless because you're not altogether there. And so that was key. Being a vet, being a schizophrenic, not being able to get my medication was key in extending my period or cycle of being homeless. And yeah, that was the situation at the time. It was 5 years ago.
I became homeless. I was scared. I was alone. I didn't even have my own family because they're the ones that, sorry, they didn't have my back because they're the ones that pushed me out. They just didn't care. They had no heart, no remorse for taking a pregnant person on the street, their own niece and my kids.
I was living in my car. I would, my daughter, I would take her to, maybe a relative, or because I didn't have too many friends. And being in that situation, I was like almost like kind of embarrassed. So most of the time it would be like a cousin or a friend or something that had kid her age, or and I would park my car near wherever she was, and I would sleep in the car, and just in the morning time go get her. We would drive around, go to the beach, and do things like that. But I was sleeping in my car. That was the worst feeling in the world, having to deal with a very sick child, and then we're homeless. That's something that opened my eyes, and I'll never forget. And just as a mother, you want to keep your child safe. You always want better for your child. At that time, I didn't feel like that. I felt like she wasn't safe because I wasn't there. And that's one of the hardest things in the world to deal with.
It is ultimately virtually impossible to get a job when you don't have a place to bathe, a place for your clothes, a place to change, a place to brush your teeth, shower, things of that nature. And, and when you don't have those things, you aren't prepared to answer the questions of an employer accurately.
Being on the street makes you not trusting. It takes about 6 months to settle down from that not trusting to realize that there are actually people out there who really do care and want to help.
But during the time I was homeless, I encountered so many grateful people and resources that helped me out. Because when I got my place, I finally got a place and I got the funds to get my own apartment. I had nothing because I was homeless. I don't have a bed, I don't have furniture, I don't have clothes, pots, pans, nothing except my food stamps on my card and then my cash aid for the month. And what's nice is that there was a resource, a lady that had heart for me, and she's just like, I found this for you. And I'm like, what is it? And she's just like, I'm gonna be able to get you your whole apartment furnished.
There's homeless everywhere, and most of the time those people, they don't want to do anything to harm you. They hungry, sometimes cold, hot. Put yourself in their situation. They would want someone to help them, not be so rude, because I know here where I live, these people, there's often been like a homeless camp down there, and me and my son would go get like blankets, food, whatever we could. But everybody doesn't think like that. Some people say it brings their property value down, and they're just repulsed by it. They shouldn't think like that. They should actually try to put themselves in that person's shoes. All they need is a little help. Try to help them. See what they need. Vote. Speak up about the situation. If there's a lot of homeless people in your area, see what you can do to help the situation. Not, calling the police is always not the issue, like the key to doing everything. See what you can do to help fix the problem.
Compassion is one of the things that would really, really make a difference for the people that are on the street. Being able to place yourself in the other person's shoes for a minute, no matter how ugly they seem, their situation seems to be, that's another human being right there.
No one chooses to become homeless, especially with a family, with kids in a family. No one chooses. Something always has to have happened in their life for them to have gotten to that point.
I think that Heal is a really good program because the people in it have real life experience. So they know what it is. They know how, like they know that lifestyle. They know how it is to be homeless. Some of them probably are still some situations like that. So any information or feedback that we can provide or Heal does is valuable to me and to, you know, the city, so they can understand better, you know, how to deal with situations, what they need, and how to try to help the situation, not make it worse.
Heal is one of the voices of the homeless people. And it's grandiose, but there should be a Heal person on every city committee. Anything that has anything to do with the homeless. We have been there. We see things that it's like I said to the other question. I've been working with this population for a while. I really thought I knew it. You don't. You don't until you've actually been in it and experienced it, and that can really lead to some insights for the people that are on various different councils. They pull the levers that make the things happen, but their insight into what needs to happen is not always there. That's where Heal comes in.
Heal has impacted my life by a lot of reasons. One, you guys became part of my family, because if it wasn't for you guys, I felt like me being homeless, I felt like it was just, it happened, it's done with, and now I'm not homeless no more. But I've always told myself I want to do something, I want to help out the community, but I just didn't know where to go, how to do it. And I feel like now that I'm part of Heal, that I have a voice and I'm not alone.
Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's situation, when they are homeless, they have the same goal. It's to become not homeless, you know, get shelter. He'll help me understand legal processes and how things are passed to get funding for the homeless, the whole long process, things that we have to do, things that we have to know, for the ballots, getting them pushed and passed. I had no knowledge of this, like things that were going on to help the homeless situation. I didn't know that there was like this whole legal process to getting all this funding. I didn't know where it came from before. It gave me a better understanding of what needs to be done and how it needs to be done to address the issue of homelessness.
Home is family. For me, that's the only thing I can have to say, because I don't have to be living in an apartment. I don't have to be living in a hotel room. I don't have to be living on the street. It doesn't matter where I live. I just have to have my family with me, and that's all home means to me. And we could create a home anywhere we want.
Home is that place where I'm safe. Home is that place where I can grow.
Home means a place to lay your head, a place to be at peace, and a place to make better decisions for yourself, for your community, and for America at large.
Home to me is safe. Is yours. It's where you can relax, where you can be with your family, not worry about being cold or hot, or you're able to sleep because you don't have to worry about who's around you or be scared. It's just your safe zone. Everybody should have a home and have that security.